Hello everyone, this is Paige Hebert. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new year of drama. And what I mean by drama is that there has been pretty much a new survivor of sexual assault that has come about on one of the musicians I looked up to that is basically suing him. Yeah, you heard that right, guys, and I really did not want to hear another one after what happened to Jimmy Urine. But yeah, here again, new disappointment, I guess. So, the person that's getting sued for this is none other than lead singer of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler. Okay, for those who don't know, growing up throughout pretty much my entire life, I grew up with Aerosmith's music a lot back in the day, especially around middle school and high school. I used to listen to her music a lot, and oh geez, after what we're gonna endure here, what we're gonna talk about, it's gonna ruin my teenage childhood again, but here we are. Now, I found this article on Rolling Stone. Yeah, just go with it. They pretty much actually told the best way possible what the situation is besides rock feed, but here we go. This is what the article says. Steven Tyler accused of sexual assault of a minor in new lawsuit over a decades-old claim. Yeah, do you see what I mean? It's gonna get pretty bad. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be as bad as the one about the lawsuit on Jimmy Urine, but here we go. We're going to talk about it again. A woman who claims to have an illicit relationship with Steven Tyler in the 70s when she was a minor has filed a lawsuit against the Aerosmith singer, accusing him of sexual assault, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was filed following California legislation that temporarily waived statutes of limitations for childhood sexual abuse allegations. In the suit filed in Los Angeles and obtained by Rolling Stone, the plaintiff, Julia Holcomb, alleges that Tyler convicted Holcomb's mother to gain him guardianship over her when she was 16 years old, which consequently allowed her to live with him and engage in a sexual relationship. She claims they were together from 1973 until about 3 years later. The suit itself doesn't name Tyler, naming the defendants as Defendant Doe 1 and Does 2 through 50. But Holcomb, who Rolling Stone mentioned in a 1976 profile of the band in reference to Tyler's romantic life, has been public about her experience with Tyler in the past, and the lawsuit directly quotes from Tyler's own memoir. In his book, without stating a name, Tyler similarly says that he almost took a teen bride and that her parents fell in love with me, signed a paper over for me to have custody, so I wouldn't get arrested if I took her out of state. I took her on tour with me. I'm sorry, but any parent who allows somebody to quote-unquote be their guardianship and then to find out they're in a romantic relationship, whatever, I don't know. Any parent who does that shit, whether that is a rock star or I don't even care if you love somebody or not, that is crossing boundaries right there. And the fact that Steven Tyler himself has admitted that he was with a minor when he was clearly an adult, I legitimately feel sick right now just saying that out loud out of my mouth. Okay, moving on. I want this action to expose any industry that protects celebrity offenders, to cleanse and hold accountable an industry that both exploited and allowed me to be exploited for years, along with so many other naive and vulnerable kids and adults. Holcomb, who filed under her current name, Julia Misley, said in a statement regarding her suit. In a statement, she also referenced the legislation allowing her to come forward with the suit and an exploitation and trauma she claims she faced from Tyler. Because I know that I am not the only one who suffered abuse in the music industry, I feel it is time for me to take this stand and bring this action to speak up and stand in solidarity with the other survivors. In the suit, Holcomb alleges that she was powerless to resist Tyler's power, fame, and substantial financial ability, and that Tyler coerced and persuaded plaintiff into believing this is a romantic love affair. Holcomb alleges that she met Tyler, who would have been 25 at the time of their meeting, just after her 16th birthday when Aerosmith played a concert in Portland, Oregon in 1973. Tyler, according to the suit, took Holcomb back to his hotel room where they discussed Holcomb's age. After he allegedly asked why she was out all night by herself, Tyler and Holcomb talked about her troubles at home. He then performed various acts of sexual criminal contact upon her before sending her home in a taxi the next morning, the lawsuit states. Tyler also allegedly bought Holcomb her own plane ticket to his next Aerosmith show in Seattle since she was a minor and could not legally travel with him across state lines. The suit says after the Seattle show, Tyler allegedly performed more sexual acts on her, and Holcomb flew back to Portland the next morning. I frankly don't have anything else to say. Listen, even as an adult myself, I am really worrisome about going to an event on my own. I mean, even just around in my hometown in Des Moines, I still have to watch out as an adult who I am hanging out with at events or concerts, because I don't know what fucked up shit they will usually do. And most of the time when I go to these events, I'm usually with somebody else, whether it's a friend, a family member. I mean, most of the time with these situations, I don't just go out with anybody. And I want to make things very clear to Holcomb herself. I'm not blaming her in any of this. As a teenage girl, I would have more than likely been excited to see my favorite star, my favorite musician, too. I think every teenager feels the exact same way. But it is the adult's decision if they meet a fan who is clearly a minor, especially who is a minor. It is their responsibility to not cross boundaries. I'm sorry if that sounds mean or paranoid or whatever, but legally, there is a reason why you don't do this shit. Even back in the 70s, okay, granted, in the 1970s, it was very questionable. Even my own mother, who actually grew up around the 70s, even said that there was a lot of things back then that they did would not get away with today. And this is definitely one of those cases right here. By 1974, as the suit alleges, Tyler convinced Holcomb's mother to allow him to become her guardian, which would allow him to more easily travel with her without criminal prosecution, a timeline that matches Tyler's own comments from his 2011 memoir. Tyler allegedly told Holcomb's mother he would provide better support than she was getting at home, promising to enroll her in school and give her medical care. Tyler did not meaningfully follow through on these promises and instead continued to travel with assault and provide alcohol and drugs to plaintiff, the suit claims. Holcomb further alleges that she was pregnant with Tyler's son in 1975 when she was 17 years old, but got an abortion after Tyler insisted she terminate the pregnancy following an apartment fire. In making the argument, he cited smoke, inhalation, and lack of oxygen to the baby, though the suit claims a medical professional told her the unborn baby was not harmed by the fire. Listen, I am the person who is normally pro-choice, but honestly, it's disgusting that somebody like Steven Tyler forced his victim to get an abortion over what? The fact that he would get caught? Because this is what it exactly sounds like to me, and I legitimately feel angry right now that he did that to cover his own ass. That's at least what I'm getting. And even when the medical professional that just said it here, that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like to me that Steven here told his victim to get an abortion. So not only will he not take care of the baby, but also he didn't want to be responsible for the victim's baby either. This is one of the few times where I would have to say that the victim had every right whether she wanted the abortion or not. If she didn't want the abortion, that's up to her. That is not up to you, Steven. According to the lawsuit, Holcomb was hesitant about getting through with the abortion, but Tyler had threatened to stop supporting her if she didn't proceed with the procedure. After the abortion, she allegedly left Tyler and went back to Portland to change her life. She became a devoted Catholic, met her husband, and buried her previous experiences with Tyler until he wrote about them in his book. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. I had a fucking feeling this was a way for Tyler to not take any responsibility for his actions. Oh my fucking god. I mean, I don't normally support pro-life for the most part, but in this case, she had every right if she wanted to keep the baby or not. That was not up to you. And it just would have been easier, Steven, for you to just say, I didn't want to be the dad. That's all you had to fucking do. But what's also really messed up is that he said that he was technically a guardian also for her, not just as the boyfriend. I'm gonna throw up if I keep rambling like this. Moving on. Holcomb says in the suit that her life was further disrupted with the publication of Tyler's memoir, which, without Holcomb's consent, referenced his time with an underage girl and subjected her to involuntary infamy, while framing the alleged abuse as a romantic, loving relationship, the suit says. Tyler has also spoken of a relationship with an underage girl, both in his own memoir and in Aerosmith's autobiography. The Aerosmith autobiography, published in 1997, references the relationship, the apartment fire, and abortion. But Tyler refers to the girl as Diana and said she was 14 at the time they met. In the memoir, however, he says she was 16, and he writes about the fire but not the abortion. In the suit, Holcomb says she mentioned in the memoir's acknowledgments, which further moved her anonymity. I don't have any words to describe this. First, he said that the person, before she come out what her actual name was, that she was 14, which doesn't make things much better. And then to yet say she was 16, it's like, what is your end game and what is your, like, kick for, doing this shit, Steven? I frankly want to know. And it really does make me wonder if he is into underage girls just by this alone. This is not a good look, Steven. And there's also the stereotype, like, oh, we don't know what really happens in the music industry. They could be doing such disturbing things. But with things like that, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but in this case, I can believe that disturbing shit happened behind the scenes, because this is not a good look, Steven. You're not making yourself look good, and you already haven't years ago, which I wasn't aware of this until now. She was 16. She knew how to nasty, and there wasn't a hair on it, Tyler wrote in his memoir before saying he became the girl's guardian to avoid getting arrested if he took her out of state, before detailing their sexual endeavors a few pages later. With my bad self being 26 and she barely old enough to drive and sexy as hell, I just fell madly in love with her. She was a cute, skinny little tomboy dressed up as a little Bo Peep. She was my heart's desire, my partner in crimes of passion. I feel sick right now just hearing Steven saying that. I had no idea that he's thought about any girl, like, not even a woman, like, literally a minor. This is somebody who's not even 18, and you're describing her, who knew how to do the nasty, who was a sexy. What the fuck? You know what? I remember a long time ago, Nicki Minaj, back when American Idol used to have Steven Tyler as a judge in the show before. I remember, from what I heard, she said, fuck you to him or something like that. Now, looking back to it, she might have had the right idea to call him that, because if she knew about all of this, holy fuck. And we already know some of the people she has not had, who's very questionable, like especially her brother. But even then, I bring it up because I still remember that, and now kind of looking back at it, I wonder if Nicki Minaj had the right idea to say that to him, if she knew what was going on and found out what happened, because oh my god. The lawsuit isn't the first time Holcomb has shared these details about her alleged experience with Tyler. Prior to the complaint, she detailed many of the same allegations in 2011 for the far-right anti-abortion website LifeSite News, and she has gone on programs like Tucker Carlson's show to share her experience as voter against pro-choice advocacy. Holcomb also spoke of the experience in the 2021 documentary Look Away, which focused on sexual abuse in rock music culture. I became lost in a rock and roll culture. In Steven's world, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but it seemed no less chaotic than the world I left behind. I didn't know it yet, but I would barely make it out alive, Holcomb wrote in 2011. I could not believe he was even asking me to have an abortion at this stage. He spent over an hour pressing me to go ahead and have the abortion. He said that I was too young to have a baby and it would have brain damage because it had been in the fire and taken drugs. Holcomb's suit comes in the final days of California's Child Victims Act, a 2019 piece of legislation that lifted the statute of limitations and granted a 3-year look-back period of survivors of childhood sexual abuse to come forward with their allegations. The deadline to file a lawsuit in December 31st, 2022. So it's now almost February 2023 as I am recording this. I have not heard anything more about the lawsuit, but what I will say is the one thing I do not like when a lot of these lawsuits claims is that it's becoming a political statement. Like, okay, granted, yes, this victim that is suing Steven Tyler is pro-life, but that's not even really the most, I mean, it's part of the focus. I mean, she clearly didn't want the abortion. We all know that. And yes, she did become a Catholic as an adult and married as a Catholic. So, but what I don't like with a lot of these like stories like here is that it becomes a political statement. Like, shouldn't children, the protection of children should be more important than a political statement? Because granted, I get what she's saying right here, that she was a victim of all of this, but the fact that it's being politicalized, I'm sorry, but I'm more worried about if the children's safety and if they're not being abused is more important than whether they identify as a Republican or Democrat when talking about these issues. To me, that shouldn't be a priority. But in conclusion, knowing Steven Tyler now, I haven't listened to Aerosmith in so long, I'm not even sure if I want to listen to their music again. The last time I made a video about this, when I talked about Jimmy Urine, there was one person that commented on that particular video saying that, well, they were making certain songs, certain suggestions that we overlooked, and now looking back to it, it's more true than ever. And honestly, remember hearing some of the songs that Aerosmith might have done in the past, especially Steven? I don't know. Sounds pretty legit. I mean, this is clearly not a good look, and From what we heard, there more likely might be more victims than her. I have no idea. Maybe she might be the only victim, but more than likely, when predators are hanging out with minors, they're usually not the only victims. And that's the sad reality. You guys let me know down in the comments below. Honestly, I'm having really sickened thoughts whether or not I should be listening to Aerosmith again or not, like I did with MSI. But you guys let me know. Thank you all for watching. And if there's an update to any of this, I will definitely make another video about this. And I will definitely leave the article and the video that Rockfeed did about the whole situation down below. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time and take care.